We're not pissed at One Piece. We're pissed at you.
Look at that. You did it.
I remembered it.
That was nice.
I remember it.
That was nice.
I'm not pissed.
You had.
I'm not pissed.
Oh yeah, neither am I. But we're back.
We're back. It's been a couple months.
It's been another 3 months, like 4-ish. Like
Yeah.
the last time was December 29th is when we last uploaded.
Yeah, and that was like the One Piece remake news, which we haven't heard more about since.
Nah, which is fair.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And the last chapter that had come out at that time was chapter 1102, which is the very end of the Kuma flashback, the Happy Birthday Bonnie and all that. So we have all of the since then.
Yeah. No, there was just some bombs that kept dropping. I don't know.
Yeah.
Egghead is
cooking.
Egghead's really, it's going hard. I really like this arc.
And fucking now we are in the thick of a 3-week break.
Yeah, man. No, that break, and he just straight up said it was because, like, rest in peace, like, Akira Toriyama died, and he wanted to look more after his health, and I was like, yeah.
Good time as any. Yeah.
Dude, that I did not think that death would affect me as much as it did, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was rough.
I was like listening to Dragon Ball openings all day, and then I literally, I literally cried at the gym listening to Chala Head Chala. It was that hit me so hard, and then obviously, like, you start to think like, oh, what if Oda, like,
my God, right?
And it's just like, fuck, I don't want that.
Yeah, and this happens with a lot of people with Toriyama, right? Like, it's premature and it wasn't expected at all.
Yeah.
But it is sort of like around the same age that Tezuka died, and the same age that Ishinomori died. A lot of very prominent mangaka just, like, they go so hard and don't take the most care of themselves in that prime period where they should have, and they
It's
they
like,
don't have as long of a
they start like their careers so young when they should be forming the habits that, like, hopefully
sleep.
it's just sleeping. Mostly sleep. Probably mostly sleep, right? I would imagine.
Shigeru Mizuki, who's the author of Gegege no Kitaro, he has this there's this panel, this like little strip of his that goes around often when these sorts of things happen, where he recounts this memory he has of meeting Ishinomori and Tezuka at like a mangaka party or whatever. They're like, what do you mean you don't? What do you mean you sleep? Like, we never sleep. And they're kind of like bragging about it. And he's like, you fools, fucking sleep is the most important thing. You're gonna die early. And then the last panel was like, and so they both died way earlier. Like, they died very young. Meanwhile, like, Mizuki died at like 93.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So some of them do manage to make it pretty old. But then if they don't take care of themselves.
I just hope Oda put himself into a 3-week coma, to be honest. Like, he sleeps for 3 weeks straight, and then he wakes up and he's like, bro, wait, I know how to end Egghead. Like, he's just dreaming about One Piece for 3 weeks, and then he comes up with the greatest conclusion for the arc. Like, that would be crazy.
I suspect what he's doing is doing all the groundwork, designing Elbaf.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
As a place, as a location, and like, I have these ideas for characters. I should do that initial legwork of designing.
More
them
characters,
and stuff.
huh? More characters for Oda to introduce.
Oh yeah.
For one chapter, and then to discard for the rest of the series. Man.
Like I said, I think he's better at it, but it was interesting with this one, like the vice admirals in this.
Dude, more characters for me to not know the names of that I will never know the names of because I don't care enough.
Until I care, right? Until you give me a reason to care.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Like, I think I care enough about Bluegrass to remember. And
is that the hot goth one?
No, that's the old hat, like the old lady.
Oh, the old lady. So the ones I remember the goth one and the thumb guy, and like the rest of them blur together too.
Right.
they're all like, I don't know.
Understandable.
It's all other One Piece character designs randomized in a generator.
Right.
To me. But
you know what I was just thinking about, because I was just thinking, because you mentioned these there, I'm like, you know what would really set them up? Never mind, I'm a stupid idiot. Because I was like, not a lot of them have devil fruits, but then I just thought of Sword, and several of them have devil fruits.
Yeah,
And
but I feel like that's
devil fruit.
Sword, right? Like, Sword is like the specialized division.
But I was just thinking about it. It's like not that many of them have devil fruits besides like the admirals, I guess. Like there's a couple, but it's interesting that Garp avoided it and Helmeppo and Kobe avoided it. And that sort of thing. I don't know where that goes, or if there's anything to that.
That would be well. There's that one. I don't know if it was like a vice admiral, but there's like the rust fruit guy that like rusted up Zoro's sword in Enies Lobby. I think he was like a vice admiral, right?
Yes.
I think that was the one who went to, what's it called? What's Boa Hancock's island? Handjob Island or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Amazon Lily.
Amazon Lily, yeah. But I think that was the same guy as the rust fruit, like out the mustache.
Oh, interesting. Right.
I feel like I don't remember that much. Like I feel like the more years go on, I don't remember more things about One Piece.
Yeah,
because I'm not constantly consuming it. But I don't know, for some reason that just came to mind instantly, and I'm like, okay, maybe I still do love this show. Maybe I still do love it.
Oh yeah, like, but I agree. I think, if anything, I think all the admirals and navy people, with the exception of the admirals and sword and like some of the stuff around Garp, a lot of them are very underdeveloped compared to what Oda would normally do. Like he gives them names, but like
it doesn't give much to do, right? It's always like supplemental to what is happening, like because that's like I feel like I remember that admiral more than like most of the other ones, because he was he was actively in the story, like transporting Luffy, like Boa Hancock to Impel Down. I think that's like because he was such like an active part of that. But most of the time, these admirals are just kind of like, I show up for one chapter. I am an admiral. I am important. I proceed to yell at other Navy officers and do nothing. Then we go to the next chapter, right? Like,
and it would have been interesting if Smoker was a part of it. Was one of the people that were sent to Egghead. Or even like, what is his name, Bogart, or like the guy that is always with Garp that has like the fedora hat or whatever.
Bogart, I'm looking it up.
I don't know if that's his name, but it's like Garp's number 2 guy.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone freaks out about him.
I don't know why people freak out. No, I remember I was talking to a friend a couple months ago, and he's like, "Bro, Bogart was in the chapter," and I'm like, "Who the fuck is Bogart?" He's like, "This guy." I'm like, "Dude, this guy doesn't even have eyes. He doesn't even have eyes. Oda doesn't even give him eyes. What do you mean?" But yeah, he's the dude.
But it's like recognizable admirals that he's drawn before, or fucking I think the guy that was in Baratier that like Sanji kicked his ass or whatever, the Knuckles guy. Like he's shown up a couple of times or something, but it's like, why wasn't he
I feel like I don't know. Garp should be not Garp. Smoker should have a bigger presence in the story. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing.
It's weird because I would love to reread or rewatch Punk Hazard, knowing that this is the only stuff that he's getting.
Which is so weird
at the moment.
To me. Yeah. He was such an important part of early One Piece.
Yes.
And I feel like gave us that, other side of the Navy. Like we got that window into that I think we're getting with Kobe a little bit in this recent arc.
Definitely.
But we're still not getting that much with Kobe too, like in the grand scheme of things.
Sword in general. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Sword could definitely be developed more. I feel like the only way that would happen is if Sword, was on the same island as Luffy, and that sort of like maybe Kobe is there. But I can't imagine that'll happen until late game One Piece.
Yeah, the thing is we don't know what's going to happen with the Navy once this Vegapunk message happens, which is a development that had since the last time we talked or whatever. How did you feel about give it 10 minutes, 10-minute warning?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's kind of funny. Like I like the jokes where he's like, I gotta make my tea real quick. Like, give me a sec.
Right.
Like I was laughing.
Let's wait for chat to come in.
Yeah,
like it's literally live streamers like waiting for chat. Like
I like that aspect.
For an hour.
But at the same time, my brain instantly is like birdcage.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've done this before, and the last time you did it, it was not good, Oda. That was bad. And like we're coming to like this crescendo of this arc. And I feel like the last thing we need is like something like to artificially elongate it. Because like there's so much happening.
Yeah.
Like all of the goddamn Gorosei have transformed into like eldritch horror, like Japanese beings.
And a sandworm.
And Dune. Fucking Timothy Chalamet is showed up in One Piece, and we have Vegapunk just like, I don't know, adding an extra 10 minutes for no reason. I think
no, there is a reason. So the reason I can think of that I assume is the case.
Okay.
Is he wanted to make sure, and I don't know if he says it explicitly in the chapter, he really wants to make sure that people have set up video transponder snails. Which is different from just like, I have an announcement to make. Sonic the Hedgehog is a punk bitch motherfucker. Or, you know, like he's not just like saying shit. You know,
he's gonna show.
So he's not just saying whatever he's gonna say. He has something to show the entire world. I don't know what that is.
He got like emu ass pics or some shit. Like
right.
Definitely. I think that makes sense.
And
I wish it was shorter.
And the fact that he's really showed that everybody in the world is tuning into this, with the exception of Fusa Village, which is interesting. But like him recording all that and that whatever that triggers, I do think is going to be what allows both things to happen at once, because a lot of One Piece fans are fully expecting a final war with everybody at the same time. But I think they fail to recognize that Luffy doesn't give a shit about that, and he's not just going to participate in some war that doesn't have any build-up or doesn't have any like specifics or whatever. Like the reason, like, you know, like I can understand the revolutionaries doing a particular mission or whatever. But there's always specific reasons why characters are doing what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like the trigger for the Marineford is Ace's execution.
Yeah, like Luffy's just not gonna. Blackbeard is fighting Shanks. Luffy is gonna come in like that. Luffy's just not gonna do that. That's not
right. So there has to be some orchestration to this. But then the other thing is, like, I know that Oda wants to finish this. This is the final saga. He doesn't want this to go like super long, and it ends when they find the One Piece, right? Which other fans also don't believe is going to be the case, which is ridiculous. I'm like, how do you then end the fucking story? Like, that's how else are you supposed to give an ending?
People don't think he's gonna find the One Piece?
No, they think he's gonna find the One Piece, and then that like incentivizes him to go fight Emu. And it's like, well, what are we doing here?
Well, we don't know what it is, right?
No, of course not. But like, it's this idea that he has to go then topple the entire world government.
It has to coincide with each other. It has to be natural. It has. Yeah. Well, it has to be related to that, right?
Right. Like I think that we've amassed enough allies and enough people that they can take care. Like everybody in the One Piece world that we know of, the Grand Fleet, the Wano faction, the Revolutionaries, Sword, which I think is going to just rally the rest of the Marines into it, because they're going to because whatever Vegapunk's unveiling, I think is something that the Gorosei do not want to let out.
It's definitely just the Gorosei.
That they're willing to go down there, and that threatens them directly, which means that I think everyone that's under their nose or whatever, that they don't realize what's going on. Once they do, I think they're all going to be united in that and take on, the world government and take down the Celestial Dragons and Emo and all that. I do think that's going to happen, but it's not going to be Luffy that does that. I think it's because Luffy is concerned about getting the One Piece. Shanks and Blackbeard and Buggy are all laser focused on getting the One Piece. So that it's whatever Vegapunk, I think, whatever he's announcing, is going to allow the four emperors to kind of just be on their own together and hash it out while everyone settles it over there, elsewhere.
Yeah, where like Sword and like the Marines kind of like rebel against their system.
And everybody kind of,
because that's where the stories are leading, right? Like
all of them are united under Luffy but Luffy just doesn't have to be there himself.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
And so both of those conflicts resolve themselves at the same time. Well, like at once, which is probably why Oda is so fucking excited to write it, because it's all one thing happening at once. But I don't see it being sequential. Like people are, because especially a lot of these readers have been so in the grind of one arc at a time. Yeah. Like I can imagine like how long it took to take down this one, like the two emperors, Punk Hazard to Dressrosa to then Zou to then Whole Cake to then Wano, as if like he can't. Walk and chew gum.
Well, like I feel like he's basically like showing that he can do multiple storylines at once with this arc. Like we've talked about that a lot, where like this is the first arc where he's just cutting between a bunch of different perspectives and things occurring, and I think that makes a lot of sense to where, you know, we're in the final battle between the 4 emperors, then we're like, oh shit, we're back to Sabo and Kobe rebelling against the world government. Like that definitely makes sense, because it's like Kobe and Sabo's battles, like they want justice for you know, the people. That is what they're fighting for.
Right,
Sabo
especially with when they find out what the Gorosei are.
Yeah, right.
With everything that's going on.
They're fucking demons. I don't know, man. Like, what the fuck are what are they? Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for what he's gonna come up with. I don't know what the theories are.
There's something about the way that they work, because I think that there's something that they're connected to Emu, and
Emu's like some
so like their immortality is connected through that system. So it's like you have to take out the head in order to take out the rest of them, basically.
Okay.
I think there's some like specific connection to them, and the way
fucking
that they can
witchcraft.
They can summon each other and everything. Which speaking of course, I love them. They're really cool.
Yeah, no, those designs were sick. They were really cool. No, I liked it a lot.
And I was most excited that as soon as they showed up, they were smart. It's not Luffy fighting all 5 of them at once. It's Ethan going out and taking out all the pacifistas. And then it's Marcus going up to try to get into the Labo phase to try to stop the message. And the rest of them can take on Luffy in the moment, which is, I don't know. I think all of that was just like shows that
they're figureheads. They're
intelligent. You know, they're not just like strongest creature on Earth or whatever.
Yeah, they're the puppet master. Well, obviously, like Emu's probably the puppet master, but they're like the puppet masters of the world government.
Exactly.
We'd expect them to be intelligent enough to split up and try and cut off the communication of the broadcast and take down Luffy.
There's a fuller theory behind this, but Arthur was bringing up that, and I guess he did. I don't know if he realized this until now. The Gorosei have always been presented, for the most part. I think, I don't know if there's how many exceptions there are. For the most part, whenever the Gorosei are shown, they are shown in a sequence. They are actually kind of like, they talk in an order, like 1 through 5 or 5 through 1. Oh my god! And they're actually kind of numbered, or like they're displayed on the panels in a way that's like the Sandworm Jupiter's number 1, and then it goes Ethan, the sword guy with the horse, and then Warcury, the pig, and then Marcus, the firebird thing, and then
and the spider.
And then Saturn at the back.
So okay, it kind of goes interesting.
Like 1 through 5 or 5 through 1.
So then they would send their like the lowest on the rung, the spider dude, to go take down Luffy, right? And then everyone else comes whenever it actually gets dire, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's something about like their order or whatever that Oda's showing them in a very particular way for a reason.
It's like a hive mind sort of.
I think so.
Thing going on. Interesting.
I kind of think so, and that's why we're not like. I don't think there's enough. Again, One Piece fans think that we're going to have an arc for every Gorosei. Like, no. No.
What?
No, I don't.
I feel like that's so weird to think. And
it's the copium of wanting it to last for another 10 years.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is happening. At least Oda doesn't want that to happen.
Maybe like, maybe I feel like it could be 10 years still, but I don't know how. I just feel like Egghead's taking so long to finish up. I find, like,
it is longer than Fishman at this point.
Yeah, which is crazy because I feel like it. I feel like so many people were thinking it was gonna be like a Zoe.
Yeah, I was thinking it was gonna be a Zoe.
I think we probably talked about it on the podcast where we're like, this is gonna be like a transition arc.
Transition arc. I think.
But this is like more lore drops than like like most arcs in the series.
Yeah.
And like, well, because there's just been like mini. Like side quests throughout the entire arc that have kind of like distracted from the main plot, which you know I like, and I've been enjoying, like getting Sabo's perspective and Garp and Kobe's perspective and Blackbeard and all the different things going on in the world at the same time. But at the same time, I'm like, I'd like for the broadcast to be sooner, but I get that expectation. You know, he wants the entire world, like as much of the world as possible to see, right?
That, and he also wants the Gorosei mobile and they're on Egghead for this to happen. There's definitely something that he's picturing that he couldn't just say it. Like, I'm not just talking like Vegapunk. I'm saying like Oda has this image in mind for this of like how he's going to reveal this stuff. And in terms of what he's revealing, like, yeah, Vegapunk is researching Void Century. I think it's something Ancient Kingdom wise. Yeah. But I think I rewatched Roger Laughed. Odin specifically mentions that like when we got there, we learned everything about the world. There's 3 specific questions. He's like, what is the will of D? What are the ancient weapons? It was either like, what is the Ancient Kingdom or what is the Void Century? It was like one of those.
One of those, yeah. That's basically the same thing. Right?
Yeah, and but like, I'm saying that as a way to say that I think those 3 questions are not going to be answered by Vegapunk, and we're only going to learn that once we get the One Piece, the same way Roger understood and learned it.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know what would be revealed then. I guess just about.
Yeah, it's just some sort of, in terms of what Vegapunk reveals, I'm not sure.
Maybe I don't know. Like maybe he wants them all on the island just so he could like.
I think just who the world government is, because of like that doesn't include all the stuff that Sabo, like, you know, the stuff that Cobra was talking about with the Gorosei and Emu, that like, oh yeah, we had a big war and then we united and everything was fine. You're like, no, that's not really what happened. Like clearly the Lily defected for some reason and we don't know why, you know.
Yeah.
So we have to see.
You have to wait for this fucking hiatus to end.
Yeah.
So
and I was just realizing, because I was looking at the Egghead arc wiki, for like the One Piece wiki with the Egghead Island arc. They mentioned that they reminded me of the Egghead incident. We still haven't had a definition of like what is that incident necessarily.
I feel like
this is it. Yeah.
This is the incident. Yeah.
I think specifically his announcement is the incident. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you could define like the entire thing is the incident, right? The entire arc is the incident, but this is like what makes it a worldwide.
What shocks the world?
Yeah, it's what shocks the world.
Yeah.
And it could just be like, the world now knows how bad the world government is, but I feel like it has to be a bigger impact for the viewer.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, that's gonna hit most people. Like most common peasants in like different One Piece towns, like, oh my god,
immobilizes them. But
right. But there needs to be something else because we're getting built up. We're getting built up after these chapters. We need something, Oda. You know what I mean? You can only edge us for so long.
Like, watch me, he says.
Watch me. He's been doing it for like 25 years. So I guess you can keep doing it.
Yeah. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, but I think there's plenty, especially I think whatever he reveals, I think will probably complement very well in Elbaf, assuming they do get to Elbaf.
Yeah, that's, you know what? It's just like, I was having a thought when you were mentioning like him kind of constructing Elbaf as as this sort of next world,
what does
right?
The big tree look like? Yeah.
But like I'm just thinking of things he can cut to make to hit that like 5-year end goal that he's kind of going for, and it's if this announcement kind of changes the nature of how the world operates, I wouldn't like be surprised if the next arc was them trying to get the One Piece or something in that nature. Because the giants are here, right?
Yeah.
And that's something, that's like one of the check marks like that he set up so long ago, that like Usopp wanted to meet all these giants.
See him again.
He wanted to see them again, right? And that's, obviously it's not like what we wanted exactly, but it is, he's having fun interactions with them. Like they're, they inspire him to become a cool warrior. So, it's, I don't think it would be the worst thing if we didn't go to Elbaf next.
Yeah.
But we would need like some...
But what is it? Right.
Yeah, why are we going there, right?
Well, yeah, the thing is, nobody can go to Laugh Tale or Lodestar. I think I'm of the... Again, I've said this in previous podcasts, that I'm of the belief that the last showdown with the 4 emperors happens on Lodestar, specifically, and whoever... And they have it so that whoever wins that skirmish gets the last poneglyph and then gets to go to Laugh Tale.
Yeah.
But so that in terms of who the burn scar... The man with the burn scar is, who can summon whirlpools, whoever
or the
that
man.
yeah,
by Flames or whatever his name was.
Whoever that may be, I think would be solved in. You're right. It doesn't necessarily have to be Elbaf, but if it's something in that middle part between this one and the last big arc.
Because realistically, like, he knows how long Wano was.
Mm-hmm.
He knows like he knows how long Egghead's getting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think he probably like took these breaks to kind of
map it out more,
map out the story, and maybe
that's what he did for the initial when he had that first break right before Egghead. He's like, I'm planning everything out of like everything I want to include, everything I want to make sure happens. Because it does feel like when you look back on Egghead, there's a lot of fun stuff. It's just kind of fun ideas, but we don't appreciate them in the moment because we don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
But then you look back on the whole thing, I think that there's just a lot of fun variety to Egghead. There's a fun murder mystery thing. There's a lot of lore. There's a very sad backstory. Unbelievable hype. And cool moments.
Yeah, cool fights
good
and stuff.
Fights
and like the island's just interesting and creative. It's like not something we've seen before, which you know, One Piece is not the one arc to do that where it sort of repeats islands because everything's kind of different. But I found it really creative. Like everyone loves the setting of this like super futuristic.
Especially I think it works so well because it happens to be an island like Punk Hazard, where the cast is narrow.
Yeah.
Like it's not Dressrosa where you just or Whole Cake or Wano, which are very populated locations. Like they have like a huge like potential for all these different cast members and all these different factions and stuff, and being so character heavy, which has I think it has its pros and its cons because I do like his characters and getting new ones and everything. But they're better. It's better when you know the full context of the whole thing. Like, I imagine Whole Cake is really great on a rewatch because you watch it and you know how important Brulee is, but you don't know how. But you also know how like not that important Cracker is.
Yeah,
like,
but in the moment,
but in the moment, you have no idea.
Yeah,
you have no idea. They kind of have the same level of importance, so you invest the same amount, which is probably minimal. But then
and you
Brulee
think,
and you're like, oh.
Oh yeah, she's way more important in the story than Cracker ever was. Like Cracker is like a character that you forget. Like he's like the jobber character at the beginning of the arc.
Mostly, yeah. Or just like, oh, Oven's the whole thing, but like he only goes so far.
Yeah, it's interesting because especially with reading Whole Cake Weekly, there were so many characters that I thought were gonna get fleshed out more. Yeah. But then never did. Like I feel like Smoothie, I think was her name.
Yes.
Like the long-legged one.
Yep.
I thought she was gonna get way more because I think her character design was great.
Yeah.
But then she got nothing.
Yeah, not a lot. Didn't even get a significant fight.
I was hoping.
She's part of the chase. She was part of the chase of the way that Genie was.
Yeah. Right. She's part of the chase, and that's. Yeah. You know, that's just like so many characters. Like it's hard to focus on anything, and that I don't really particularly. Love the chase part of that arc. I love that arc, but you know, the chase part goes on a little long.
It's rough towards the end, especially because they clearly can't stick the landing. I don't know what he was thinking there. Yeah,
that was rough. The end of that arc is pretty rough. Like that build up to the climax of that arc is so good.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Like the explosion of the birthday cake,
especially in the anime, I really like.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch the anime, but
him beating Katakuri and
everything and amazing.
Yeah. But then it's like I'm awake and let's
awake.
Beat him, and it's like, what do you know?
It's like you're playing Dark Souls and you defeated the boss like 5 times and you're like you're just tired, right? Like you're like okay, that was a good boss fight, but
come on, man.
And then it wakes up a 6th time and it's like even harder. I'm like, oh my god, kill me. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is nice having like a smaller cast, because I can't remember most of the characters in these arcs. I feel like Wano I struggled the most with, just because there were so many. Yeah. And they kept introducing them.
A lot of recurring people too from like previous arcs.
Right? Yeah. I feel like when I Dressrosa, I was able to remember more people's names. Yeah. Because I feel like he gave a big spotlight to them, like in the Coliseum when all the Grand Fleet members, because they all seemed important, and I feel like he wanted you to remember their names.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I feel like the sort of side characters or like lower people on Kaido's crew, they didn't get that much spotlight as per like introduction. So I struggled to remember most of their names.
It was interesting because I felt I held them very loosely because I recognized as a newcomer who was, had some osmosis spoiled to me. I knew Bartolomeo was a big deal, and I felt like I knew Cavendish decent enough, but everybody else in that Coliseum, I was like, I was like, I don't recognize you, therefore you're probably not that important.
Yeah.
But then I was surprised because there's some people there's some of those fighters that don't make it to the end, that become Grand Fleet members. So it almost felt like an American Idol type thing,
right?
Like some people kind of going into like finalists, and I'm like, oh my god, Ideon guy made it.
That's a really fun comparison.
I'm like, oh wow, like this person made it to the end, or this person is important. Like, oh okay.
Many of them. Yeah.
And now I like them. Like now that I know that they're part of this cool Grand Fleet thing, but again, week to week, no idea that that's what it's leading to. It's just going to be, more they just look like more fodder in the moment. But then the fact that they have Hyrodine, and Hyrodine, at least in the anime, is shown to be on Ohara when they're salvaging the books. He's helping them salvage the books.
Yeah. I really liked Hyrodine in the anime.
Yeah. So
I remember really that. Like watching and reading that arc weekly is like everyone thought that like Bartolomeo was going to join the crew, or like
of course
one of them was going to join the crew.
Yeah.
So it's just like that ultimate resolution of them all joining was like so joining the fleet was so cathartic
in that way, where it's like all of them could have, and so it's like let's make it kind of
let's just do it. Yeah.
Right.
I loved that's like one of my favorite that era of like post Dressrosa chapters. I feel like is my probably the most fun I've had.
That's awesome.
Reading One Piece weekly.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I don't know. Recently I've been letting like the chapters kind of build up more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I usually like let a couple now.
Nice.
And then I caught up.
Wow.
I feel like it's more satisfying that way.
Yeah. I would feel that way if it was released, if we weren't like up to date, like caught up with the Japanese, right?
Yeah.
I feel that way if I was like reading something like Kaiji or other kind of manga series, I guess, that are not like super on the radar.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, this one is just like
it's everywhere.
I've definitely gotten invested in following certain people and what they think of various chapters, and using it as a way to re-experience the chapter multiple times. I don't know if I think I did at this point, because I've actually been recording my reactions to the chapters. Yeah, I've been doing it since the last time we recorded too.
Oh, nice.
I started at 1096, and I've recorded a reaction for every chapter.
Hell
since
yeah.
then. And it's just been fun, just as kind of a little private individual thing. I'm not a great reactor, to be honest with you.
I could teach you, man. I got some notes. I got some experience.
The sauce? Yeah.
I got some experience.
I know I'm not great at it in comparison to someone like Recon or Roger, because I read them very quick. Like all of my VODs are like, the longest has been 18 minutes, I think.
Okay.
But everything else is like 12 minutes, 15 minutes. Like I'm very quick with reading the chapter because I'm just like absorbed in it, and I also read manga a lot like as if I'm watching the anime.
Yeah,
like I don't dwell in a moment too long. Like I just kind of pace it out as if it's happening in front of me, I guess.
Yeah.
But there are obviously some moments that like I pop off and I stay there for a little while.
Like,
I'm
yo,
yeah, fucking Sanji kicking the laser.
Yeah.
Let's go. Thank you. Let's go.
Yeah, that shit was awesome.
I think that was the hardest I popped off because I was waiting for something like that for him to do something like that.
Yeah, no, God, Sanji's so good.
And he was like edging me for a few chapters that like, oh, he missed or he wasn't there or he kind of does it, but then that was just like perfect. Like,
God.
yes.
I love that. No, that was I just love like you don't expect Sanji to, I don't know. I didn't expect him to sort of pop in there.
Yeah,
against
and to
the
like
Gorosei.
go toe to toe with Kizaru.
Yeah, the Kizaru shit was so funny.
It was the Kizaru like kick at the beam, and Kizaru was like, ooh.
Yeah, I love that panel. Oh my
like,
god.
You gotta be kidding me, man. That was chapter 1107. I wrote down all the chapters like since I recapped it for myself. Just remember certain things like, oh yeah, that time you remember when Kuma punched Saturn?
Yeah.
Or just like the chapter afterwards. Almost.
You remember that time? Yeah.
Yeah.
You should upload the reactions, bro. I want to see them.
I'll put them in some kind of like, I'll stitch them together and cut them around. I'll cut them out because there's obviously like times when I just kind of like laze about like reading the TCB comments a little bit at the end.
Oh yeah.
So I'll have to do some editing, but otherwise, yeah, it would probably be like a 2-hour vid altogether, maybe, because it's 5, 10, 15, 16 vids. I would want to do it once that gets over. I'd probably do that.
Yeah. No, I used to do the reactions. I probably talked about this when I was like when I first started reading the manga weekly. Like when I was making videos when I was like 15.
Nice.
I would get up at like 6 a.m. on the Thursday just so I could get my video out before I went to school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I would react to it like really early because sometimes it wouldn't even come out. And then I'm like, fuck, I woke up at 6 a.m. Fuck.
Right.
No, it was like I was so hungry for the next chapter.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm definitely like that. I was like really like itching for it for sure with the latest one, and then TCB moved from like Thursdays to Fridays, or they actually went to Fridays. It moved to Fridays, and we were just like, oh, please.
I'm not as hungry for it. Yeah, I'm not as hungry for it as I once was.
Yeah.
I don't know, but no, I'm like I forget about it, and then my friend or like my roommate has to like be like, oh my god, you see that you're gonna love what happens. You should read One Piece. I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm caught up.
You're healthy.
I'm healthy.
You have a healthy relationship.
Maybe I have a healthy relationship with One Piece. It's not as. I wish I was more obsessive though, because I used to be.
No, I get that.
I was in the trenches, but I feel like the trenches are too normy for me now, so I avoid them.
I get it, especially like, it's kind of what Crafts has probably gone through, where and this is just anime conversations in general. I have this. You know me. I don't know if you know me, that like I do this where once I have an idea, I have to spread it in every fucking avenue I can. So my patrons have already heard this a few times, and I've said it on Digest and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But fucking anime discourse conversations like this are cyclical, because of this chosen hobby is more geared towards teenagers and young adults.
Yeah.
People grow out of it, and then new people come in and be like, whoa, guys, I think the dub is better than the sub. Like, shonen is a genre, not a demographic, or whatever. Or like, ecchi's kind of bad, isn't it? Or, I don't know.
It's the same conversations,
same shit every year.
Right,
like, it cycles, like, oh, it's that time of year where we have to roast people for posting the elitist collage, being like, your taste is elitist, and we're like, no, those are good shows. It's like, oh my god, we're doing it again.
I think that's partly like why I've grown more out of anime.
Oh yeah,
a lot of it's like, it's obviously, it mostly appeals to teenagers, young adults, and it's like, I'm growing out of that demographic slowly. And
I think it's less like it's less that the shows themselves are like, oh, it's juvenile, whatever, because I'm still enjoying the anime itself. But that's obviously the case for some people. Maybe some people grow up it itself or whatever. But I just think more of the
discussion. That's what I'm talking about. I never look at anime discourse anymore.
Right.
Like I guess unless I watch Digest.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Because I feel like that's my like.
That's your exposure.
Sometimes on Twitter.
That's your limit.
But that's Digest. I'll hear Shape talk about it, and I'll usually agree with what you'll say. Or like something will. Obviously, I follow a shit ton of anime people on Twitter because
exactly, and that's me too. Where like I'm following this one of this guys, Brandon Riley. He's he's realized this himself, that he just happens to like have the right following, that he ends up getting a bunch of viral tweets being like, participating in this exact anime discourse. And I'm like, well, at least someone's taking the bullet for us, all us old timers,
the old heads
that can't be fucking bothered. But
yeah,
then, but you imagine everybody that was in our position when we were in their position, like when we were like those younger kids that were like, we're the first ones to think of this shit.
And it's like, no.
They're like, oh, you sweet summer child.
Yeah, like
they've been discussing this shit since the 90s.
Yeah.
And my boss, I keep, like, it really sticks in my head. I'm definitely coming into that. I think coming around to that idea that like he was the founder of Anime News Network, and he mentions how he's like, I am so glad that I'm out of the anime opinion business. Right?
Yeah, I feel like that's a bad business to be in.
Is this show good or worth your time? No.
Yeah, no. I feel like
it's a losing game.
I feel like that's a losing game, mainly because of the output. Like, there's so much anime.
Yeah. Like, oh god, have you checked the Annie list? Have you checked Annie list for this fucking spring?
Dude, I haven't looked at Annie. The only time I use Annie list is when I update I just finished Utano recently. Whenever I watch anime, I'm like,
Annie
okay.
list. Right. Yeah.
Oh, you mean anime?
I mean the seasonal chart.
That season I haven't looked at the seasonal chart in like probably a year and a half.
You will. I have to. Yeah. No. Like, you're gonna be like, oh, what the fuck? All of this shit. Like,
Annie
what is
chart? Yeah.
What is this?
Right?
I'm gonna show the screen.
Show it to me, dude. I haven't looked at this but this is something I used to look at like every couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize Konosuba was back until I saw Blue Eyes made a.
Yeah. You're like, wait, what?
I'm like, what? Konosuba? I want to watch Konosuba. I like that show.
Yeah.
My Hero Academia season 7. Peak.
You'll see like some of this stuff that like, wait, that's getting another season. So like, Konosuba 3, Mushoku Tensei 2, like it's 2 part 2. All right.
Annoying anime.
Yeah. More Demon Slayer, more Slime, more My Hero Academia 7.
7.
It looks so comical.
Dude, yeah, that's so funny.
That was a mistake.
That was so funny.
The people are just like, oh, just release it in seasons. It's a great idea. No.
Why don't they just say season 7? Why did it say Boku no Hero Academia 7? Like,
just 7.
Just put the word season in front of it. It makes sense.
I don't know.
Putting 7 in front of it, like, it's the 7th decade time.
And
my God.
And then we finally have an original Kaiju number 8, which is the Shonen Jump thing.
That's the Shonen Jump, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Shonen Jump thing.
I remember I read the first chapter when
But I'm just gonna hop around a little bit, just like, what? So, Spice and Wolf remake.
Yeah.
Third season of Irregular Magic High.
Wait, they made a second season of that?
And I guess this is the third one. Date Alive 5.
I did not know they made more than one of that.
More than 4. Yeah. More Eurocamp season 3. A remake of Bartender, which is a show that came out in 2006.
Interesting. Bartender, yeah, seems very high on the list too. Everyone's watching it.
Yeah,
bunch of isekais I'm looking at.
Of course.
Hibike Euphonium?
More Hibike Euphonium.
Really?
3. Yeah.
I had no idea.
More Black Butler.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Another season of Black Butler.
Heard about that one.
Yeah.
How did I hear about Black Butler and not Konosuba? I feel like that's insane.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm not sure.
Like, I've never
seen different pipelines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking third season of that show.
Bo-chan. I don't know what that is.
It's like the.
I don't want to know.
I don't remember.
I don't want to know what that is.
I'm over it.
Well, what I do, my exposure to new anime is that like sometimes like when I'm eating like dinner with my roommate, we'll just like turn on Crunchyroll when I was still subscribed, and like some new anime would come out, and we put on like the first episode for like 5 minutes. And then switch to the next one like that. I feel like I watched like the 100 Girlfriends show.
Yeah.
The first episode of that, and that was insufferable. But like, I don't pay attention to this like the Annie chart anymore. Like I don't know.
No, for sure. Absolutely
I'm so disconnected now.
That's so weird. I guess it's not here, but there's also Kimi no Todoke.
Oh really? Oh okay.
Yeah, that's happening on Netflix. That's like a 3rd season of that.
On the new Baki dropping.
Yeah.
Oh, in Sandland, I tried watching that, but the CG was kind of weird.
I hear ya. But yeah, it's just like there's so much And you're like, what the hell is this or that? And I'm just like, I think I'm okay with this going by me. And then maybe 10 years go by and you're like, hey, this was a cool show. And like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. Like fucking, like I'll sit on Odd Taxi.
Yeah, Odd Taxi's gas. That was a good show.
I'll be like, yeah, I'll go for that. Like when I'm in for it. Or
that was a good one. I like that show.
I had a recent recommendation that it was a show that came out a couple seasons ago called Migi and Dolly.
And Dolly.
It's like a thrill. They're twins, and it's like a horror thriller thing or mystery, whatever. But it's by the author of Sakamoto desu ka?
Oh.
So it has that same kind of weird eccentricity. And I had no idea, but the author passed away like really recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't know, it's just stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that I feel like that feels like firm ground. Like I have someone I trust recommend that, and I have some familiarity with some creator's previous work. Like, oh, it's this director. Oh, it's this author. You know what I mean? Like there's something about it that I'm like, okay, that's worth it. But like there's so many studios that pop up now, and there's so many they're just picking up whatever. These production committees are just picking up whatever. And it's like fervorous, and you don't know what's going to get a second season or not, and what to get invested in that regard.
Yeah. What makes me sad, you know? Like I feel like I would always like the most popular anime, you know?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I feel like I was
you'd be a solo leveling guy?
I've never seen that. I'm not watching that. The title sounds kind of cringe. I don't know. I don't want to watch that.
No, fair. I just think that's the most popular whatever.
Right now, that one's really popular. But I'm just thinking of like Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm like,
yeah.
I don't like Jujutsu Kaisen very much.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, I don't know. Whenever I meet someone new, and they're like, "Oh my god, you like anime?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like anime." And they're like, "Oh my god, Jujutsu Kaisen." That instantly they bring it up, and I'm like, okay, let's not talk about anime. Like, I'll always bring the conversation to something else, because I'm like,
wow,
I don't got much good to say about that show. So it's just like, I feel like that's so much part of the discourse. I feel like whenever like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen started coming out and were like so popular, and I was like so not into them, that I'm like, I feel like that was like the beginning of me like,
I should probably back out,
being more pushed away from it. But just because I mainly watch cartoons now, and that is like mainly what I watch. And I was saying earlier, like I just found it so ironic that I was saying like, yeah, you know, I'm getting older, you know, I'm aging out of anime.
Right,
as I watch literal fucking children's show, like we watch the most brain rot shit every day. You know what I mean? So it's
like you guys.
So ironic.
I pray for the day that you guys find yourselves reacting to some like YouTube Kids animation.
Oh, dude, it's getting close. I'm gonna snap. I'm gonna snap.
On the cusp.
Dude,
you're
no, it's actually on the.
Watching some Cocomelon shit,
dude. Literally, I'm gonna snap. No, we watched something the other day. I was almost gonna snap. It's not good. I wish we were doing One Piece reactions.
Yeah. Speaking of, I was like, I wonder when I'll bring it up. My guy, I want to watch the latest episode again.
Oh yeah, you want to watch it?
And this time, have you seen it?
No, I think I've seen I've seen all the clips of the animation.
Yeah, and I do think it's still worth watching the episode itself for if you've read that if you've read that chapter. Let me refresh you on what that chapter is like. He's like, that guy gave us food, and then it's a page with Sakazuki and the admirals being like, don't let him fight, and then they cut back and they're already Gear 5 awakened and Lucci awakened.
Yeah,
like they immediately, right?
Yeah,
the episode's they're not gonna do that. You know,
so there's like
they give us a little. They give you a little bit more.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I kind of like that.
It's worth checking.
Banger opening.
Yeah,
it's one of the best One Piece openings ever.
Huge
for sure.
Oh yeah, I love this. I love the VA for this. He's he's also the narrator in Kaiji. He's perfect.
Oh my
god, it is! It's the narrator in Kaiji.
Yeah.
That makes me like Akainu way more.
I was like, yeah, okay, I like Akainu. I know he's a bitch, but
I have a little figure of him that my friends got me from Japan.
Oh wow!
And I was like, I don't like this guy. He killed Ace. But now I'm like, okay, it's the Kaiji narrator.
Oh,
okay.
He's kind of cool. Okay, dude, Kizaru's fit.
Yo, okay. He's looking so cool. I love Kizaru. Oh my, there's probably so many thirst traps of the Lucci chest moment. Like, I don't know.
Right.
The One Piece fans are going crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this looks so sick. What the hell? Oh my god. Oh my god, this is such a crazy scene. Holy shit. I like how grounded the fight was, and now it's One Piece fight. Like,
right.
It would that like those first like frames were just like, this is like realistic fight between two dudes, and now we're punching. We're going JoJo, Ora.
Yeah, they're like, all right, we're evenly matched there. Let's take it up a notch.
Let's take it. Oh my god, doing the flip. God, he looks so gay in that outfit. It's time. Gear. Is he just gonna go up the gears? Gear second time?
We get an actual Gear 5 transformation.
He has to think goofy thoughts. What is he has to like think of like Wile E. Coyote chasing the Roadrunner, and he's like, okay, I'm in the mood.
Bong. What the fuck?
The sound effects are so goofy.
Yeah.
He likes it.
Luffy Nanoka.
Oh my god, dude.
I love him. I love Lucci.
Yeah, they got dun, 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 dun. They got the overtaken Goofy edition. That's crazy. Oh my god. Oh.
Oh.
The fucking sound effects.
Oh, this is funny.
Luffy got bleached.
I appreciate that was Usopp's first reaction to Gear 5.
Luffy
He's like,
got
oh
bleached.
no.
Luffy got bleached. That shit is hilarious. Oh, and then Lucci's. Holy fuck. Furry time. Yay. I love Lucci, man. This is me whenever I see Judy Hopps, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I hear you. Fuck yeah.
They go too hard, bro. They're going too hard with the animation. It's fucking
nuts.
Like, this ain't One Piece, bro. This shit's crazy.
This shit's supposed to look like ass.
This shit's supposed to look terrible.
But this is also cool that like they made it so that Lucci's actually dummy fast.
Yeah, I've seen this. I saw. Yeah, slapping his ass. Yeah, I saw that shit.
Kiss my ass. Very cool. Very convenient for Bonnie to be the only one unconscious for this.
For Bonnie, yeah. It's kind of unnerving watching Vegapunk's mouth move with the tongue sticking out.
Yeah.
I never thought about that while reading the manga, but it looks so fucked up in the anime.
Yeah.
He looks so crazy.
Psycho. Yeah.
Does he ever put the goddamn tongue back in his mouth?
No, it's there.
I feel like there's easily a gag where Usopp pushes the tongue back in his mouth because he's so freaked out or some shit.
That's funny. This is interesting, knowing what happens, the way they talk here. They're like, oh, the Gorosei can't help us because they're not here.
Yeah, it's so funny. I didn't even think of that. This is such a cool... Why are the graphics just so cool here? What the fuck? What graphic designer did they get? That's so sick.
It's my passion. Oh, man. We're going to get S Flamingo.
S Flamingo.
S Flamingo and S Crocodile. Oh, my God.
S Crocodile is going to be a woman. That's crazy.
We'll see.
Imagine, dude.
We'll see.
Dude, imagine. That would be the greatest moment of my life. Oh, my God. Dude, I don't care what the One Piece is. I don't give a shit. I want Croco Mom. That's the only thing I need. That's a good ending. Oh my God, that's a good episode.
Fuck yeah.
That was good. That was really good.
That was fantastic,
very,
right?
very good setup there of just like disarming us to like the fight and then just completely like subverting that at the end. That was really good.
Exactly. Yeah, I love, and it's just so fun to watch the episode having read the chapter, and so that when it came out at the time, because I find it really fun to kind of guess what the next episode's going to do in terms of series composition.
Yeah.
Just figuring out like, okay, they ended at this part of the chapter, or that like they finished adapting 1069, so in 1070 it's like, okay, what can they do in 20 minutes? And kind of charting it of like page count and yeah, it's like I'm not sure at what point they'll end the episode on. I think they'll end it like this hit right here, like when he has that final shot against as Lucci and he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like right here, like losing consciousness, can't hold on, he just gets KO'd. And then the next episode can start with them like, okay, now we're getting onto the rocket, let's go over here. And and then
I feel like slowing it down definitely. That's we've talked about this a million times of just the anime stretches out scenes to give more impact, and I felt that adding that initial like bout exchange really built up both of their powers in such an interesting way. Like I feel like I saw I saw all the Gear 5 animation on Twitter, but like what an animation moment that stuck out to me was just that initial exchange,
that initial, the
no devil
stuff.
Fruits. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was
like
really
the fight
cool.
choreography there was amazing. Genuinely.
Yeah, it was really exciting because in Luffy's mind, he's able to kind of like take him on again, like having that opportunity again. Like he has this sense of justice of like taking of what he did to Atlas, and kind of exerting his authority in that way.
Yeah.
But especially like being able to take someone on like that who really challenged him and he almost wasn't able to beat with the new experience as he has now. Like it's similar to later in this arc when he gets really excited at being able to fight Kizaru because he's like, we're way different than what we were 2 years ago, because there's so many ways that this arc parallels Sabaody as like a crisis point, and like, oh, we're probably in way over our head and we need someone like Rayleigh to save us, and Kuma, but that's not the case here.
That's not the case. They've evolved. Yeah,
it's just them, and they can take on way more than just that. So he's like, we've leveled up, and it's him showing.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like you comparing it to Sabaody, but it's like that response to like what they were post time skip. It has Sentomaru here. It has Kizaru. It has
Kuma here.
And it also has Lucci, which is probably one of the hardest foes, probably the hardest foe he fought.
It's the hardest foe that he fought that he was able to beat.
Yeah.
In the pre time skip.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't think there was anything like, obviously it was cool that like Oars was a pretty significant threat, but it took everybody to do that. And Thriller Bark does fit that in that way, that like, oh, maybe we're not ready.
Right. Now it's like it's hard to believe it, because it's like so much of this story is like they're the underdogs.
Yeah.
And they're fighting all odds. They're just some scrappy pirates with some fun powers.
Right.
But now Luffy's like a god. So it's so different. Like, just their perspective going into this arc.
Yeah, because at the end of it, like if we really want the world to be believable or take it seriously, that power does have to be a significant threat, and not just like, oh, he was able to clutch it. Because Luffy's not a protagonist that is like clever. Like he's very he's emotionally smart. He can tell certain things and knows the right thing to do and everything most of the time.
Yeah.
But like strategy wise, fight wise, he doesn't really go in like that. He just kind of like hits it until he can figure it out and goes his way through. And he was really like, I think one of my favorite moments in the series on Retrospective of just how much I value it as a storytelling device, or just like the narrative is so important at that moment, is the end of Dressrosa, when he's beaten this like pretty significant baddie that people didn't think he would be able to beat with Doflamingo, and it seems that like things are going well and we could maybe even beat Kaido, but then fucking Fujitora completely smokes him, and he's like, no, you're not even close. Like you have way more left to go, and it puts him in this position of like, oh, I do have to. I'm promising these people like Momo and Law and everything that we can take on Kaido, but are we being serious?
Are we there yet? Like,
yeah,
we're not there yet.
No, you're right, and
it's like he got those lucky encounters like with Fujitora and stuff, that he was able to avoid these bigger matchups, which would send him back to because like the Sabaody archipelago, he was faced against Kizaru, which he could not beat.
No.
and he just got lucky up until that point,
They
right?
could barely beat the Pacifista.
Yeah, like they were completely outmatched, and now it's just completely roles reversed, which is just very cathartic.
It's very satisfying because it shows that's all that stuff, all the hardship they went through matters, and it's just their perseverance in those things. And yeah, it is like if the story is them becoming, Luffy becoming king of the pirates, and they're being the strongest crew while still being who they are. Like I really like that. Even in Wano, you have that scene where a lot of the Straw Hats that are able to whip ass are whipping ass, and like in that first, like before they reach Onigashima, that one outpost, they're all kicking so much ass together. Once Jinbei joins, and then you just have Usopp, Nami, and Chopper just kind of like huddled at the ship, being like, "Yeah, go!" Like they know they're not on their level. Like not even close.
Yeah.
Like they're still valuable members of the crew, and they're important. But it is funny that like, yeah, if they were in any of this, if they were anywhere close to Orgor, like that's what makes the Marcus being up there with the Labo face so fucking terrifying.
Yeah, the stakes there, because all the
they're
lesser, the stronger, the less strong characters.
The weak trio is together, and like Brook's there. Like Brook could kind of do something. Like
he could help.
Brook's not useless, but guys,
he's not Sanji.
No, he's not Sanji. He's not Frankie. He's not Zoro or Jinbei, and Robin's injured.
And it's not good.
Like no, we're not. They're not in a good spot right now.
Chopper can do some doctoring.
Yeah, but you know what? Speaking of Chopper, like the whole thing with incoming arc before final battle or whatever, and maybe he's saving it for last arc. Somebody brought up in like. I don't know if it was like I'm in these communities or whatever, but somebody mentioned the idea of Chopper's legendary zone. It's like what's that going to be?
Ooh, interesting.
And I was like, because he is the human fruit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So like that could be peak. That could actually be really fucking peak.
He becomes a Japanese salaryman. He's like, hello, I'm Tony. Nice to meet you. I'm Tony.
Oh god.
That would be fucking terrifying. He's just a human being.
Yeah. No, right. That, like, I'm thinking that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Awakened Chopper just becomes some fucking sexy dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be like, oh, I don't know, or some boy or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
right.
Like,
it would probably be. Yeah, I don't know. Well, cause his like the Rumble Balls. His monster point, right? That's like the peak of his power, right?
And that's moment, like
that's like some fucked up like monstrosity version of him. So I feel like the natural evolution would be an even more fucked up version, but One Piece tends to do the thing where it goes in a goofier direction. So I feel like him turning into a giant human person would be really, really interesting.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because like
it would just naturally lead to that point, I think.
Yeah, 'cause Luffy's powers, it's like these cool physical attributes. Like he turns giant. He has this cool steam. Mm-hmm. He has like these crazy black armament hockey around him, and then all of a sudden he's a goofy little goober.
Right.
All of a sudden he becomes a Looney Tune. And it's I feel like
there's some kind of like grow up moment. There's some like kind of coming of age moment for Chopper, in the same way that there could be some sort of like coming around moment for Usopp. Not like he needs coming around type of thing, but I think that again, what we're hoping with Egghead or with Elbaf, what we can get with Usopp.
Yeah.
Again, it depending like what the conflict is, right? Is it his dad? Do they meet Shanks at this point, or I don't know.
Is there some politics within the giants that we have to help with?
Yeah,
probably something.
Or within the crew, which I don't know.
That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. I would love to see some sort of just. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the crew's been really stagnant in like their development since probably Enies Lobby, which kind of makes sense, right?
They've been they're a very tight knit unit, and that's why we love them. But I noticed with the latest chapter, like the very latest one, when Zoro fails to fully take out Lucci, he knows he's not out, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm willing to get one more hit on him. I can just finish him off. And Jinbei's like, no, you won. We got to get out of here. That's what we're doing. And Jinbei even trying to, takes one on him, and he's like, yeah, blast him away or whatever. but Lucci's still conscious enough to relay all the information to Marcus. I think that was a failure on collectively as the Straw Hats. Like, I don't know if I'm not going to be like, oh, that was Jinbei's fault, oh, that was Sanji's fault, oh, that was Zora's fault. No, it's a combination of all of them. I think like it's just a collective failure. I think because it's a miscalculation of like they were prioritizing their escape over covering their tracks. Because I do think they should have taken care of Lucci and like knocking him out as hard as that could have. They should have finished it.
Interesting.
And in that I don't know if there's going to be any consequence to that. I feel like I don't know. I'm interested because especially with like Lucci saying, "Could you save Kaku?" That was awesome. That was really different from him, coming from him. I've never really heard him talk like that about anybody.
Have the empathy for his like
for anyone. That was really encouraging to just see like okay, what is that gonna do, I guess. But so I think there's something to that, but otherwise I think this could lead to some kind of rift of just like this failure caused this to happen. If that is how it goes, if that leads to a more catastrophic failure and there's something awful that happens, I don't know.
Maybe like a giant gets killed or something. Like trying to protect them because Marcus knows that they're all up there, and the giant goes to try and help protect them and gets maybe caught in the crossfire. Yeah. And then they're brought into the giant's world and feel that failure, right?
Yeah, I think it's just something about like being in Elbaf allows them to kind of work through that initial problem they have, because it's similar to Water 7 where they have these fractures, they have these issues going on before, which is unrelated to Water 7 itself. And I think Elbaf can just be the environment where that stuff happens. Similar again to with Sanji's inner conflict as well. Like that didn't necessarily it happens to relate to Whole Cake because of like marrying Pudding and everything, but it feels like it goes beyond the setting itself. It just happens to be where it is. But at the same time, I'm still like holding it loosely with Straw Hat gets cool thing to do or gets development or something, because we didn't really get any of it here. We got good Robin stuff, and there's good moments for various Straw Hat members. But I'll be open in saying, like, at this rate, it doesn't feel like Frankie's getting anything, and I think that was very disappointing.
Yeah, no, it feels very
like
weird.
I'm happy he's happy to be there, but like the fact that he was down there with all that happening with Saturn and everything, and Vegapunk being right there. I think the moment when they all scatter, like after Vegapunk gets stabbed, they have it so Frankie goes with Atlas, Kuma, and Bonnie to the ship, and Sanji and Luffy stay there to take on Kizaru and Saturn. I think it should have been switched. Like I think Sanji should have gone with Bonnie because he's protecting Bonnie. I think he cares more about Bonnie at the end of the day. And Frankie being there to try to save Vegapunk and failing to save Vegapunk would be something to his character.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I just think it's like the hierarchy of the characters, like
it is
power levels. Natural that makes sense, like Sanji going after
or taking on Kizaru, but then that doesn't even happen.
I agree with you.
Like, he fails to fake Vegapunk, and then he just kind of
it doesn't
skedaddles out of there, and Luffy, like a boss, takes out handles both of them. Like he's enough for both of them.
Now that like in retrospect, that makes so much more sense, because like Sanji's like thirsting after Bonnie, and then Frankie, likes Vegapunk,
would be way
inspired by him,
concerned of Vegapunk's well-being once he gets stabbed.
Yeah, it's so weird. I feel like Frankie always gets sidelined out of every character in the series, and it's like I don't think he's my favorite. He's probably my least favorite Straw Hat, but well, no, besides Jinbei, but I like Jinbei, but
I don't rank.
I feel like Jinbei gets more stuff in this arc.
I like them all equally.
You shut the fuck up, bro.
Nope.
Oh
I like them all.
God.
I like them all. I don't rank them. Nope, they're all great. They're all great.
I like them all too, bro. But you ain't telling me you don't like Sanji more than fucking.
I'm not gonna make that decision.
Why not? It's so fun to rank them.
No, I just for me because when you rank them, there has to be a lower tier, and like this is the Straw Hat I like the least, and I don't want to accept that about any of them.
That's wholesome.
That's the only reason. That's the only.
He's a wholesome guy, dude.
What could I say? No. I'm sorry. I'm being
You're so wholesome.
But that's sort of why I'm kind of holding my breath on Elbaf or Usopp getting anything, Chopper getting anything, whatever. I'm just like, it's okay if they don't. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like I just have to be at peace.
I feel like there has to be with Usopp. I'll be extremely disappointed if there isn't on Elbaf. Yeah. Because I feel like people were disappointed like Zoro didn't get that much in Wano.
Yeah.
But like I feel like it was more like directly set up with Usopp and Elbaf.
No,
like
totally.
And it was something that's been like constantly talked about.
Yeah.
Like in comparison to that.
And there is something about, to me, I think, I don't know if this is so conspiratorial, but like Oda knowing the final saga and being anticipating writing that for so long, it feels like it's because each of these Straw Hats, who he probably had way in advance, like this is a Straw Hat member and this is deliberate, and everybody else is an ally in comparison, and that's why we have this constant teasing of, are they going to be Straw Hat? They're going to be Straw Hat, etc., etc. I think that like this is probably copium. It's like he's saving every single finishing their character arc all for the same last arc. Like they're all going to get.
That would be cool.
It makes sense that we didn't get anything for Egghead because he was saving it for this moment. You know what I mean? It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that's
would
probably
hope so.
Massive toxic levels of copium.
Massive cope.
Yeah,
that's the cope I'd be huffing though too.
If I'm gonna
don't worry.
huff any copium, right? Yeah.
It's that hope that
you know what's not copium?
Yeah, he'll wrap them up.
That Blackbeard is gonna be the final antag, dude.
Why?
That chapter when Devon and Augur are there, and they're like, "What the fuck do you guys want?" Sekai. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. We're the big baddies now. But fucking Kaido? Fucking Gorosei? Nah.
Yeah, Gorosei ain't it, dude. They're here. That's true.
It's about pirates.
But Emu ain't here though, you know what I mean?
Too.
But Blackbeard is so much more interesting than Emu. I don't give a fuck about Emu, you know what I mean?
I'm praying for Emu. This is mean. This is mean for Emu fans, but I'm praying Emu's ugly.
I'm hoping that like
Emu looks like a
Emu
looks like a fucking freak joke, and they're like, oh, it's like an Orochi situation.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's like, I don't know. I'm hoping that he's less important than I guess Oda's putting on, because it's you know I love Blackbeard. I feel like he's been like one of the most interesting characters in One Piece since his introduction. Yeah, and I feel like most people think that, and I would love for him to be the main antagonist, but it's just the way that Oda introduced Emu so late in the game makes him seem so important, but also it's like we're not getting that much of him. Like I don't know who he is. It's all mystery at this point, and that like the mystery that brings the doubtfulness. But I've learned not to doubt Ota because he does pretty good most of the time.
So. Oda or Shinjiro, I trusted Luffy, trusted Oda. Yeah. And what you're saying at the way towards the beginning about the worry or prospect of him passing away prematurely, the thing with Toriyama for one thing, my reaction to it wasn't as hard because I didn't end up growing up on Dragon Ball too much. I kind of avoided the bulk of it, and I did a lot of it through osmosis, and I appreciate it on a structural level. But I think for me, I was like, I know that Dr. Slump is just as important as Dragon Ball, and I haven't seen Dr. Slump yet. So I didn't feel like I was like, I can't allow myself to hit that hard because I feel like I need to appreciate the full scope of his work. But also I think it was encouraging, and it just so happens in this way that like Sandland is airing right now and Dragon Ball Daima is on its way, and Daima is something that he worked on and was involved with very heavily with the scripts and the ideas and everything. So it really feels like we have more Toriyama to look forward to. There is one more thing to look forward to with him, and that's very fortunate. That's very fortunate because most people don't get that with these sorts of situations. So it's just something to be I'm something to be thankful for, even though it's you never wish this on anybody, but it's gonna happen.
Especially someone so talented.
Obviously I would hate that to happen to Oda. I think it would be just irrevocable. Like that would, it's no different from like with Berserk and Miura.
Yeah.
Because now that's like so part of that narrative and part of that legacy in a way that it shouldn't be. In a way that I wish it wasn't.
Yeah, right.
I just wish it wasn't. Yeah.
It shouldn't be, right? It's Berserk.
I just wish it wasn't associated with the author died before he could finish it. Like any story that happens it inevitably happens. Like Wheel of Time is like that. Dune was like that.
Like Dune, yes. Right? Was it that?
So it's like awful. That being said, I'm not. I think with One Piece, they realized that where that would just be the worst.
Yeah.
And it's if it happens, it's like that's awful. But like, what do you do from there?
Yeah, well, yeah.
And not like in a cynical, like, we got to keep the IP, the business go, like, not even anything like that. It's just the duty to the people that put so much work into the story, that that have invested so much in it, that aren't like Oda's the main guy, but everybody at Shueisha, all of his editors, the anime staff, the voice actors, everybody that made One Piece what it is as a success, not just as a core story. Like it started as one thing that Oda came up with and started working on his own, but it's everybody that helped get him there and create it to be what it is. I think it just and everybody and all his fans, I think he realizes is like it is similar to Miura, where he and this is why I'm at peace with the situation with Berserk, where they're continuing it. There should be a new chapter this month. They announced it.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it because that was his wish to see it completed.
Right.
And he'd hate that if it wasn't. And I think Oda
if it wasn't completed, right?
The same way. And so he's told the entire story of One Piece to his first editors. Like he told it to like I've said this with fucking the One Piece OVA director. He told them the whole thing, so they all know how it goes. The main core details and the humor and the jokes and all like the specific shots and impacts and stuff probably would be up to decide. And I don't think Oda necessarily has like a specific number two, like a really long time assistant or something, or editor. Yeah, it's like I think that if that happens, which I'm praying, which I really don't think, I really hope it doesn't. Yeah, I think it's in good hands, regardless of what happens, is what I would say.
Right. It's like, yeah, because we know, I don't know. It's like such a sour topic.
It is
to even discuss. Yeah. Because obviously I would read it still if he passed away. But like, there's always that.
It's gonna be like, keep aware that this is the last chapter he wrote
at the back of your mind. That,
and then these other chapters are what you make of them.
It's what you make of them. It's like, I don't know. It feels wrong in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not.
No.
Exactly
It's an awful situation, and that's like the risk. It's sort of like with, I hate to I don't know. It just reminded me of this. It is kind of like what Luffy set out in chapter. Well, it's not. It's episode 1. But it's not chapter 1. I think it's like 2 or 3. I think it's 2, where the idea of betting your life, risking your life for what he does, and he's like, if I die in trying to get the One Piece, I don't mind that, so long as it was my choice and I decided, and I bet on it, and because it is the ambition of Oda that he made it this long, that he's made it this elaborate and dense.
He's made these creative choices along the way. This is all his will, right?
So then if it turns out that way and it's not something he intended or whatever, like if he dies, I can't impose that on him or anything. I'm sure that his family doesn't want that. I'm sure his fans nobody wants that.
No.
But I don't know. I just have that vibe where like there's something parallel to that, where like Luffy with the way Luffy holds on to that, like the concept of death. Even Oda as an author, his concept of death, where people kind of come back or whatever. Another, but it's just I think he sees it as a reality, but not as the the end. I guess I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, his legacy would live on, right?
Oh yes, and no different from Toriyama, right? I think he's a living his work. We still have his work.
It's Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
He could. Yeah, like I don't know. I love Toriyama's work. I think Doctor Slump's hilarious. I love Dragon Ball.
And there's more, and there's a lot to explore with his stuff, or to further analyze or to appreciate. Similar to Tezuka's work. Tezuka being so prolific as he was, and everything. I think that's the one. It's like love, right? With the risk of it is you fall in love with somebody, and you spend the rest of your life with them, but it's very more like 9 times out of 10. Either you're dying first or they're dying first, and you have to live with that. You have to deal with that. Yeah,
have to deal with that.
Figure that out, and that's the risk.
At the beginning of Up, yeah.
That pain that you go through, is the exchange that, in exchange for this wonderful life, of this this joy of the pain of not finishing your work as an artist. And dying before you finishing, that sort of thing. That's the risk that you take in exchange for creating something so wonderful as Oda's created, or as Toriyama's created, in exchange for their health or their lives, right?
Yeah. And that's, I don't know, it's kind of beautiful.
It's certainly, but it's no different. It's kind of the central idea of Ashino-jo. I'm not going to go into it, I swear. I'm not going to go into the fucking thing. But that's the main...
Okay.
That's the main theme of Ashino-jo. And that's kind of why I think it became my all-time. Because, it is just kind of the fundamental human experience, it feels like. It's dark and beautiful and twisted.
It's dark and twisted. No, that was no.
Dude, God. I can't believe we're getting a fucking Wano cover story. We got a Wano cover story.
Oh yeah, shit! I completely forgot.
Dude, fucking do you think Big Mom and Kaido are alive?
I hope not.
Nah.
I fucking hope not.
Yeah. You gotta.
They're fucking in the volcano. Like, what are they doing? What are they doing in there?
What's going on? Right. Well,
if they're alive,
Big
bro,
Mom,
she's in a volcano, bro.
Big Mom, don't expect this to kill me.
It makes sense if Kaido's not dead, but I want Big Mom dead. Is that wrong? I want her dead. I feel like she keeps falling asleep and I don't know. She's done too many There's been too many annoying things associated with Big Mom that I'm like.
Oh, okay.
Just keep her dead.
I see. I
want Kaido dead. Never mind.
Yeah.
I fucking hate him. Let him die.
Right. Fair. For me, I can understand either of them being alive, but it doesn't matter, because they've fallen from their position as emperors. Yeah. They've lost their kingdoms, right? They've kind of lost their power.
Yeah.
And like Oda said, when a pirate is defeated in battle, the way that Luffy defeats them, their dream dies, which is itself its own death, and they're going to be operating in a different way. And I know there's people that bring up Crocodile as like, hey, he's doing better than ever. Like, not really.
Yeah.
Right? He's under like Buggy, as much as he says he's not, where him and Mihawk act like they're not. They are under his allegiance.
They're like begrudgingly, under this guy.
And also just like not the same. I think.
Like Crocodile was like, he took over an entire kingdom. He was like this all-seeing terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes from that to like, leading Buggy's shitty like troop of people, and that's like a downgrade. It's like
or even helping Luffy and Impel Down.
Yeah, like he has to submit to like his ideals, right? To do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's like a death of one's dream.
Right.
That's interesting. But like at the same, obviously it makes sense.
So it's just a matter of like, why does he bring them back? And that's like that's the core of like, when he brings a character back that was supposed to die. My immediate answer is like, okay, that's for a reason. what's the reason? And if there is no real reason, and it just kind of I felt like it, that's when it's shitty. That's when it's Pell. That's when it's Pell. You know what I mean?
That's when it's Pell. Yeah.
The majority of his like bringing back from death things, I've actually been pretty cool with, because he just does more with that character. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I get that. That's cool. And if they don't, then it's like, oh, that was weird. Whatever. But it doesn't. No skin off. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, still waiting about the Saul thing to see what.
Yeah. I just think that's more evidence that we're going to Elbaf.
Okay, interesting. I forgot about the Saul thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's there.
Yeah.
And especially whatever Vegapunk is revealing, I think the Giants are the best place to be at in terms of like learning lore and shit, because I got vibes when Dory and Bragi were there fighting the Gorosei, and they're like, you look a lot like the animals that we fight in our forest or whatever. But there's vibe, and also the fact they knew he was Nika, and like they recognized that, and they know who the legendary warrior is and stuff. How long they live, they've got to know some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
They definitely know something.
There's some goofy guys, but they know.
Yeah, they keep to themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have no ambitions, but because it's also just like, what's their relationship with the world government? Do they even have like a set kingdom that they send a representative up to? I don't think they do.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You know,
right? There might be some like faction that kind of works outside of it.
Yeah.
Just because if they've lived that long, they probably know about the Void Century, and like the world government probably wants to control them.
Right. Or there's something about that. Yeah. Especially with like you had the two, Boyko, whatever. The giants at Ennie's lobby, in enslavement with them. They probably can't enslave the giants because that's kind of hard.
Yeah. Right.
Difficult. And it was just kind of like convenient that Dory and Bragi separate themselves from the Giants pirates, and they weren't active in this formative period of Roger's time and all that, and Rox's time and all that. This like furbish period of like 38, not even 38, 38 years or so, because the God Valley incident was 38 years ago, right? Something like that.
Something around there. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. Within that period, though a lot of stuff has happened and changed. But yeah, like in the future, I've really wanted to. I don't know when I'll maybe do this once the new arc starts or something. But I really want to start kind of streaming One Piece related stuff where it would be kind of like read the chapter, watch the latest episode, kind of speculating on what it adapts and what the next episode's going to do and stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe reading like a random chapter or something, or like doing working on this project a little bit by bit of I've been wanting to in preparation for Wit Piece do the manga to anime adaptation comparison.
Yeah.
For East Blue specifically, like go through that bit by bit.
That's that's a really good idea.
Yeah. In terms of like stuff they added, panels and timing and stuff like that.
And like what the benefits of the Toei adaptation are, because I feel like that's not set. Like I feel like you have a really good grasp and appreciation for that, and I feel like can demonstrate that really well, especially in comparison to the manga. Like, because so many people, no one wants to sit down and do that.
Yeah.
Because they're just it's easier to say manga's better, anime sucks, but there's benefits to both. So.
Yeah, it's because exactly. They don't want to take the time to do all that because it's easier to just say that and have these like generalized opinions and move on. It takes a lot of stupid effort and time to do it the other way. That like nobody cares.
I will be watching that video. That's all I know.
Yeah. But yeah, some kind of stream like that. But of course, I'm worried doing anything related to that given what happened with Nate.
Yeah, you can't do that on YouTube.
Yeah, we didn't end up even talking about me going to Anime Boston.
Oh shit! Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah, do the panel with Nate.
Doubles it, 32 million in 2010, and then 38 million in 2011. So Star Wars 4.8 billion. So Volume 57 beats Harry.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It went well. It was pretty well. Like it was a fairly well.
I saw it was a good
room.
turnout. Yeah, I saw on
good
Twitter.
Good turnout, and we went a little over time, but that's just because we really wanted to. There was people we wanted to hear from and stuff, with people that be online and stuff, because we have like a lot of audience participation. And that recording of we recorded the whole panel, and that is available on Nate's Patreon.
Cool.
Check that out.
We'll link that below. Is it out already?
It's not out yet. He's working on it right now.
Okay. Well, we'll link that below, and then subscribe, and then you could see.
And, especially just because because what happened with him is the talking pirates and
so tragic,
so
man.
stupid, like really.
It's
stupid.
so tragic. It's actually so fucked up what happened to him.
Yeah, but still a great sport and great guy to be with in person. Hung out with him and some of the other PCP, some people with like Ben and not that he was PCP, but Victor was there, Trixie's brother.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was just great to hang out with those guys.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was a good time. But
I used to listen to PCP all the time.
Yeah, we could probably talk more about that panel and all that stuff on our next installment.
Coming soon.
We're thinking that I really liked how we did 2 episodes kind of close to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and it did and then the second one having like a guest and stuff.
Okay.
I think that was a good vibe. So next time, of course, we have to see about if he's willing, but we'll finally get the man on.
We mentioned him a lot on this podcast. We've been throwing strays at him, so I think it's about time we bring him on.
I've had great I think we have great conversations about One Piece. So I look forward to doing that in this. Capacity.
The true One Piece Doomer will be on the next episode, but thank you guys for listening again. I wanted to read. I saw a comment. I was looking at the Piss Pirates account.
Oh yeah.
Someone was saying on like one of our last episodes, not the most previous one, but the one before. They were talking about like, well, it's been 3 months. It's safe to assume Elbaf will not be ending in a few weeks. I guess we just mentioned in that we thought it would end. Not Elbaf, Egghead would end with a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, that was a really good prediction from probably me. I would probably give it to me.
Let's go. I believe it.
Good prediction.
Very based.
I failed. I failed. So I failed. So it's whatever.
It's fine. This is why we do it. This is really cool to record, to crystallize these things and be like, oh my god, I said it all the way back then. That I called it X,
so
Y, Z,
I called that shit. But yeah, it's just, yeah. I think Usopp and Nami are going to get together.
All right. Finally, romance in One Piece.
Yay. Hopefully.
Crossing your fingers.
But thank you guys for watching.
Yes, great talking, Jack.
See you guys. Yeah, it was great talking to you again, too.
Yo, peace.
Goodbye.